The scientific method is, without question, the most powerful tool humanity has ever developed for figuring out how the world works. It has taken us from thinking disease was caused by bad smells to performing organ transplants. It's given us satellites, antibiotics, quantum mechanics, and the knowledge to build both a pacemaker and a hydrogen bomb. When you want to know something about the physical world, there's simply no better process than science. But there's a catch. Science rests on assumptions, metaphysical ones. It's not a criticism, it's just a fact. Science assumes there is a reality to observe. It assumes that observations made in one place or time hold true elsewhere. It assumes that the human act of measurement produces something meaningful and is not just the hallucinations of a particularly inventive cosmic dream. These aren't things science can prove. They're the axioms you accept before you can even start doing science. And the tricky part is, you can't use science to prove those assumptions. It would be like trying to prove the rules of chess by using only the rules of chess. This doesn't stop science from working astonishingly well, but it does mean it's not the final word on every topic. In fact, one of the strengths of science is that it makes relatively few of these baseline assumptions compared to other world-explaining frameworks. Religious creation myths, for example, often require vast metaphysical scaffolding, the existence of supernatural beings, specific acts of creation, and a purpose or moral arc to the universe. Science says, let's just assume there's a reality we can observe, and the patterns repeat, and see where that gets us. By Occam's razor, fewer assumptions are generally better, but fewer assumptions does not mean correct. They're still just assumptions. The real problem with science is not with science itself, but with how people misunderstand it. Many people try to use science to answer questions it was never meant to answer. What's the meaning of life? What is good? Should we do the thing we now have the power to do? Science can tell you what something is, but it can't tell you what ought to be. Those are value judgments, and science has no opinion on them. Then, there's the trap of scientism, the belief that anything not currently answerable by science must be meaningless or false. But that's just bad philosophy wearing a shabby lab coat. Some questions may forever be outside the reach of empirical investigation. Others may be undecidable even in principle. Science doesn't and can't have the last word on those. So, the problem with science isn't that it's flawed or unreliable or in danger of being overturned by some better truth-finding tool. The problem is that it's often treated as a worldview rather than what it really is. A brilliantly effective method with clearly defined boundaries. Respecting those boundaries isn't a weakness, it's the only way to keep science honest.